Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Have you got it?
Yeah.
There is a statement from Rabbi Elisha ben Avuya. So I must preface, before we come to the Mishnah, to tell you a little bit about Rabbi Elisha ben Avuya. Rabbi Elisha ben Avuya was a great scholar. He was the teacher of Rabbi Meir. However, at the stage, he came very questioning about the religion and Torah, which is really a frightening. He wasn't a child; he was already a grown-up person, and he had questions about God, and therefore he changed all his attitude, and he became. I don't know if he became completely atheist, but he stopped observing mitzvot. This was Elisha ben Avuya, so much so that the rabbis call him Acher. They gave him a nickname Acher, the other one, not to mention his name. And yet, interestingly, notwithstanding that, the Mishnah here quotes him. Of course, what is quoted here is before he went wrong, but it wasn't censored to say, well, now he's not a rabbi anymore. We don't mention his name in the Mishnah. Still, the Mishnah mentions his name, and even more than that, Rabbi Meir, his student, didn't neglect him or didn't say separated from him. He still stuck to Rabbi Elisha, recognizing and acknowledging what he learned from him, and he tried the whole time to bring him back to the right seed that he was before. And the Gemara says that with all his attempts, Rabbi Meir failed because Elisha ben Avuya told him, I heard a message from God. I don't know what it means. I heard a message from God. Everybody can do tshuva. Everybody can return except Acher, except Elisha ben Avuya. You know, he say he was condemned that he cannot come back. And yet, the Mishnah found it necessary to quote a statement of his. The Gemara said that Rabbi Meir, when he was asked, how can you learn from this man? He was already sour in his ways. He says, I can eat, it's like a pomegranate, that I can eat the fruit, the inside, and to throw away the shell. So this, of course, puts a very interesting, interesting side, say that there's people like Rabbi Meir that were not prepared just to boycott and say. He tries to as much as he can to influence him to come back. He was aware of the dangers that he has if he follow the learning with him, that he can put him also on the wrong track. But nevertheless, Rabbi Meir was confident that he will not be badly influenced. So therefore, he still continued to have a relationship with him and to learn. So this is the words of Rabbi Elisha ben Abuya. You can, I'm sure, if you go to the internet, if wiki, what the Jewish, if you say Elisha ben Abuya, you'll get a lot of stories of it. We are not talking about just a little child. You're talking about a Tana, that he was one of the biggest scholars. He was a teacher of Rabbi Meir. Okay, what did he say? Alomed Yeled. Alomed Yeled. If one learns as a child, Lemau Dome, it can be compared to Ledio Ktuba al Niyar Chadash. It can be compared to like ink written on fresh paper. Valomed Zaken, when a person is learning being old, the old man, the Maudome, who is being compared to? Ledio Ktuba al Niyar Machuk, to ink which is written on erased paper. So there are interesting insights here what the commentators say. One hand looks like, of course, to encourage a person to start learning from early age at childhood. Because when a person is young, he is able to write, like whatever he learns, it will be fixed in his mind. He will remember, and it can have, as a child or as a young man, he can develop it, develop what he's learning to full. When he's a young man, he hasn't got any problems worldwide that he has to carry for maintenance, for income. He's young. He can be a student with the full advantages of a student. Also, he hasn't got any previous, when he start to learn, he hasn't got any previous knowledge on what he learns now that might contradict what he's learning now. Not like an old man. Old man is already have life experience. He already read other things and so on. So what he learns is now has got the same effects. It is like writing on erased paper. And the erased paper is means that you have to rewrite, the old man, to rewrite on this paper to remove or to erase the old stuff which contradicts what you're learning now. And this can be quite problem that you're not able to find the clearance in your learning because you already teachings.
Which makes it seem, Rabbi, that he's saying that when you get old, you must study Torah. It makes it seem that, what's his name? Elisha ben Avua was saying that when you're old, why study? Because you are studying on, trying to superimpose on your light knowledge what you're studying in the Torah, which seems to me to be
so
negative.
the commentators say, doesn't mean to say that it is waste of time to study Torah. It doesn't mean to say this. It's an encouragement that, of course, when you have any time that you can enable to learn to study Torah, is worthwhile and gives you whatever it can give it to you. But here is the encouragement that people should not leave the study of Torah. I will study when I become, after I go to university, after then I'll start learning. No, you have to start learning from a young age. This is what really the message is. The Torah has to start like in a cheder or whatever. You can't leave it to say, I'll first of all study other things, and then I'll study Torah. This is not the right thing. There is another point here, which I can even testify from my own, that a person, an old man like myself, I can remember things that I studied 50 years ago. But if you ask, what did I study last week? I forgot. Why? What 50 years ago, I was younger. Then what I learned then remained. It is like written in a paper which is there. It was meant. But what I studied when a week ago was already old, then it is like written on an erased paper. So there is no permanent, it doesn't stay. So this is everyone, I'm sure you know what I'm saying. We can remember things from our youth better than what we what we learn when we are already getting older. Then as I said also, the messages that you learn as a youngster doesn't mix with other ideas which does not really fits with the Torah values, and then you become completely confused. So you're talking about as a young man, then you start Torah in your youth, then it will be something that you already enter in your mind and your heart as a permanent thing.
The translation in the Siddur says one who studies Torah as a child, not a youth.
Now, a child means a young man, a young child, and we are starting to study Torah, where he said, when the Mishnah Pirkei Avot said before, a person should start learning when he's 5 years old. When Chamesh Mikra. But, as I said, at the same time, a person should not say, okay, I didn't learn, I didn't study, I didn't have the opportunity to study. Now I'm already 60. No, there is no point for me to start to study now. I'm already like a dried mind and so on. No, this is not what it means here. It comes to encourage you, as a parent or whatever, encourage the children to start studying early in their youth and in the childhood, and not to leave it to later. Also, that at about the time when the person has starts learning in his as a youngster, he puts like the foundation for his learning, and during his lifetime, when you grow up, you can refer to it and you can develop it and make it more meaningful and so on. Also, one of the commentators say that the person can he will be able to teach others. If he starts as a youngster, then you could be the time to teach other people. This is what come here. So, also this point we learn. So I think that the message is very clear. That comes to teach us that study of Torah mustn't be left when a person is already older, that his capacity is like all the what do you call it?
Rabbi, to me it seems a very strange statement. The point is, when one is a child, one can't understand the more complex side of Torah, and a lot is meaningless if you say it to a child. And the child can perhaps not learn.
I don't understand, John. What are you talking about? Education. Education.
No.
What time?
I'm saying that a child can't understand many of the statements of Torah which we try and learn.
Yeah, well, he will study what he is able in his age, but it already put a foundation to build on it with the time. It's very, very difficult. Like, let us say, let's take an example. A language. If a person wants a child to learn English or Hebrew, or Afrikaans, or whatever it is, when do you start teaching? You teach when the child is still young, as a child. You don't leave it when a person is already old, because his capacity is not as fresh, and all kind of things, especially when you're talking about Torah values, when a person already fed himself with all kind of ideas, and now he has to face Torah values which is not doesn't fit with the values that he already fed with, then it becomes a mix-up. It's got a confusion. So the encouragement is study when you're young, put the foundation there. However, as we can see in our life, that there are people who didn't have the opportunity, for whatever reason, to study as youngsters, and they shouldn't just give up, and to say, no, there is no point, I'm old, there is no point now to start a new discipline, a new language, a new philosophy of Torah and so on. No, this is not what the Mishnah says. The Mishnah encourages that a person should start this ideal, to start as a young man when you have like a clear a new paper. What? However, it doesn't say that a person should give up. If he did an opportunity, he must learn whenever he can, whenever he wants to start. This is never too late. This is really Elisha ben Avuya, what he said. So, said they brings here from Rabbi Chaim Balozhener. The writing on erased paper may not have the clarity of script as on a fresh sheet, but it does leave some trace, especially if a better ink is used. So too, the learning of old age may not make be strong as vivid an impression as a study in the early years, but it does make some impression, especially with extra concentration and perseverance. So the idea is very, very clear. Yeah. So in your Mishnah, there is another part, but I think that it is in English, it's a different Mishnah. So it's Alamed Min Aktanim. I think we will leave it to next week. In Yirtzeh Hashem, with God, we'll get the other side of the Mishnah, the continuation. But I think that it's interesting to. I'm sure that especially Ruben as a teacher, you ex-teacher, you know how is a young child can absorb, and this is an opportunity that to use his freshness to be able to learn, and then he will remember, and then he will build something on it. Otherwise, people say, okay, in the meantime, I want to do this and that, and learn other things. When I'll get older, then I'll learn. This is not the right thing. Doesn't mean to say that has no meaning, even if you start as being old, but this is not the preferable way to study Torah if you want to master and to get to a certain degree of idea. Also, you can develop the idea is he brings the motion with the ink. With the ink, you can write whatever you want with the ink. You can write things which are good. You can depends how you use the opportunity that you have in as a young man, not to miss opportunity, which afterwards you'll be, when you look back and you say, oh wow, I'm sorry that I. So I'm talking to you. All of us are not as young to start, but at least we will know how to encourage our children, young children. What you say? What you say, Ruben?
I just was telling the dog to stop doing something. It's fine, Rav.
Okay. So I'll leave the second Mishnah. Well, as I said, the other part of the Mishnah, which is in the English one, in the second Mishnah, in the Hebrew one is a continuation, which has got some connection to what we learn now, and we leave something for next week if you don't mind. You can hear that I am very, very hoarse. I'm very difficult for me even to speak. I went to see a doctor today. I've got a cold or something. So,
Wish you a full shlema, Rav.
thank you very much.
Thank
תודה, thank you. Good night.
Take care, Rav.
Good night and for Shlomo.
Have a good night's sleep, Harav.
Thank you.
Have a goggle mogul.
What?
A goggle mogul. What's it? Eggs and brandy. What is it? It's for the chazonim. Ich weiß nicht.
Okay.
Please go, just
Okay.
go.
Have a good night and a good week.
You too.
And a good
Thank
week
you.
and a good Yom Yerushalayim. Thank you and enjoy your concert.
Thank you. Yom Yerushalayim is what, Friday? The concert
Yes.
in honor of Yom Yerushalayim.
Lovely. Okay. Bye.
Enjoy,
Have a
Harav.
good night.
Bye-bye.